What makes a man turn neutral? Lust for gold? Power? Or were you just born with a heart full of neutrality?
Neutral is when both players have not struck each other, they have no advantage over each other, and no disadvantage either. It is the default state that the game starts in, and the goal of neutral is to score a hit.
Particular right now. Panic roll is enough to get Axe out of trouble for now. Anything can do it from either side.
He sees Amstead going for these jumps. He manages to catch the...
The way that great players play neutral is by dash dancing and mixing in wave dashes as well as turnarounds. Dash dancing makes it to where your position in neutral is not guaranteed to the opponent, and you will be able to react to what they're doing with there being enough smoke and mirrors. You can either run away or you can go in. I would highly recommend not running in a straight line to your opponent in melee, because that is extremely reactable.
Our path was set by the travel agency.
That's for schoolgirls. Now here's a route with some chest hair.
Think of the start of your movement as the point of origin. If you do not deviate from your plan to hit them, you run straight at them, you can count that whole movement as one move. That is highly reactable. They most likely will have 1 to 2 seconds to look at what you're doing and react to it. I play Ganondorf, so we're going to be looking through the lens of Ganondorf, as he has to play smart neutral to stand on common ground with many other characters. Not all characters are built the same. Some characters have projectiles, some characters are very fast. So there are a lot of different ways that some characters can play their neutral.
Oh, okay. All right, Mango. Oh, what's on the menu?
What,
He said, can I get a box to go, please?
Mangoes and grand finals!
Woo!
Human reaction time averages at about 15 frames. This is important to realize because it means that a lot of decisions that occur in neutral have to be predictions. Or, conversely, some things your opponent does are simply unreactable. This is a good thing to take note of when planning your aggressive options. If you wave dash as Ganondorf, you have a 6-frame jump squat, paired with the 10 frames it takes to resolve the wave dash. The power in it is the option of going forward or backward, as well as mixing up the distance. As long as Ganondorf can bank the 6 frames it takes to get off the floor, he cannot be accounted for in where he will be. None is especially good at this form of movement in confusing his opponents and creating openings where he can be aggressive, as he can react to when his opponent overcommits and misses. It's also worth noting that forward tilt is a 9-frame startup. It's unreactable. Jab, a 3-frame startup, we all know, is unreactable. Neutral air and up air are also unreactable, paired with jump squat, as they are 13 and 12 frames respectively. And of course, grabs are unreactable. It's very common for people to dash dance, run away, and then grab you. Many players will choose to employ an all-defense play style to try to win more. The school of thought here is to simplify neutral so that they can sterilize the experience. The less decisions their opponent gets to make, and the less decisions that are available, the easier the outcome is in their eyes. The reason for this is you're not experiencing a lot of neutral. You're simplifying the game down to only a couple of interactions. Falco, for example, has a 5-frame jump squat, but as soon as he enters the air, he gains so much height that it's difficult to account with where he is going to be vertically at any time. Platforms will also allow Falco different landing options when crossing you up. Realizing that many of these options Falco has are unreactable means that when you encounter camping, oftentimes it will take a prediction.
After a long day of camping, it's nice to unwind with a nice, relaxing campfire song.
Throwing an overshoot can be very important when scoring a hit on your opponent. This simply means wherever your opponent is dash dancing, throw a hit beyond that. If you know your opponent likes to run to ledge, but they like to dash dance under the front of the platform, expect they're going to go to ledge when you approach. A camper's game plan is simply to rinse and repeat the same thing over and over and hope that their opponent never adapts. To paraphrase Mango, people who play lame think they're going to win more, but ultimately it makes them learn slower. Camping will ultimately have detrimental effects on your growth. Here you can see a player that I played against. They have 5,000 sets, and they have never deviated from Gold Rank. They started in Gold Rank, and they're still Gold 1 after all these sets. I, on the other hand, started at Silver 2 and got to Gold 2 over 500 sets. We're going to be looking at this graph as an example. This is the experience it takes for a Pokemon to reach level 100. We can imagine that the bottom two lines are players who are ultimately looking to learn and experience interactions in the game. A player who camps would actually not be on this screen because a camper would, in theory, take 10 times the experience to reach level 100. So if it took us 700,000 experience, it would take a camper 7 million experience to reach 100. Many say that the road to mastery is 10,000 hours in any subject. However, if that 10,000 hours was spent camping, you have acquired a tenth of the skill. This is a reason players experience the plateau, as there are diminishing returns the longer you do anything.
Gets him by two-edge and a down smash! He covered it all! Wait, that's it, the down beat! And also squeal slipping for the first time ever!
Ultimately, learning is about making interesting decisions. Let's get creative.